Venezuela, Trump, and Putin. You don't want to hear about it. You want to scroll. They're just patriarchs. The nation-state system is patriarchal. And if we want to have an egalitarian future, we need to recognize that the nation-state system as it currently exists is only moderately different from what's called Westphalian framework. You're already going to scroll away. This is real stuff. I went to UC Berkeley. That's an appeal to authority fallacy, but I'm just pointing out that I do know what I'm talking about. There was something called the Peace of Westphalia when these European countries decided, we've been at war with each other for a long time. Let's have a peace where we recognize certain borders and flags. Eddie Izzard does a comedy routine about this, basically saying that European history is stealing the world through the cunning use of flags. Because they'd go somewhere, plant a flag, say, we claim this for England. The people there say, well, we were already here. And they say, do you have a flag? I say, no. Well, then no flag, no country. That's the rules that I just made up. But that's literally how world history happened. So Europeans would agree to not hurt one another for a while in the places where they were colonizing because they recognized one another's flags. But it didn't matter what they were doing to the indigenous people. And of course, this idea that they recognize one another so they won't actually have war never really worked out. Europe has had so many wars, more wars than a lot of other places in the world. That Peace of Westphalia framework eventually still led to what was called the Great War, First World War, following which, led by the United States, there was going to be this creation of the League of Nations. However, the isolationists in the United States rejected joining the League of Nations, even though it was the United States that was leading this idea. Because the United States did not join the League of Nations, the League of Nations was fairly weak, but it still was an international body. Then, the Second World War happened, which showed that the League of Nations pretty much meant nothing. Following the Second World War, there was the creation of the United Nations, 1945. Since then, international law has been under the UN framework. However, it's only slightly different from the Peace of Westphalia. They claim that it's the United Nations for all of the world, and that it's not in the same way that the Westphalia was done, that people have the right to self-determination. But nearly everybody involved in it were men, and they were the people who were in power at that point in time, and there were still colonial empires. And so we, the people of today, have never had a chance to say what our nations are, and certainly women as a class have not had that chance. So that's why nation states are patriarchal.